They say the truth is in the details, but sometimes it's better to leave some things unspoken. I've always been drawn to the obscure and the unknown, ever since my grandfather's cryptic warnings as a child. He'd whisper tales of an ancient civilization that defied human understanding, speaking in hushed tones of the ones who watched from the stars. His eyes would glaze over, his voice barely above a whisper. They're out there, waiting for us to uncover the truth. I never knew what he meant, but it sparked something within me. As a child, I'd spend hours poring over dusty tomes in the library's restricted section, searching for answers that never seemed to come. My name is Dr. Sophia Patel, and this is my story, a tale of obsession, discovery, and the horrors that lurk in the shadows of our reality. My grandfather passed away when I was 16, leaving behind only a small, intricately carved stone with an inscription etched into its surface. The truth is not for the faint of heart. It's been 15 years since then, and I've dedicated my life to unraveling the mysteries he spoke of. I'm now 31, a researcher in the field of exopaleontology, the study of ancient extraterrestrial civilizations. My work has taken me down a rabbit hole of conspiracies, cover-ups, and the unsettling feeling that we're not alone in this universe. As I sit here, surrounded by stacks of dusty papers, cryptic notes, and the faint hum of my computer, I'm reminded of the countless hours I've spent poring over documents. The ones that hint at a presence beyond our understanding, a presence that's been watching us from the shadows. It's time to share my story, to take you with me on this journey into the heart of madness and terror. Prepare yourself for the truth. I'd spent months tracking down an obscure paper published in a long-defunct scientific journal. The article, titled in quote, "Extraterrestrial Energy Patterns," a study on anomalous signal detection in quote, seemed to be the holy grail of exopaleontological research. As I carefully transcribed the relevant sections into my notes, I couldn't shake off the feeling that I was being watched. The air in my small apartment felt heavy with an almost palpable presence, as if uninvited guests were hovering just beyond the edges of perception. It started with a single sentence, and quote, "A peculiar resonance pattern was detected in the vicinity of the ancient Sumerian city of Eridu," and quote. The text seemed innocuous enough, but something about it sent shivers down my spine. I couldn't help but wonder if this was more than just a mere academic curiosity. I decided to pay a visit to Dr. Elliot Thompson, the renowned expert on ancient Sumerian artifacts and cryptic texts. His office was located in an old warehouse on the outskirts of town, surrounded by a labyrinthine network of narrow alleys and crumbling brick walls. As I approached the entrance, I noticed something peculiar, a small, hand-drawn symbol etched into the doorframe. The symbol seemed to match the one described in the paper I'd been studying. My heart racing with anticipation, I pushed open the door and called out, "Dr. Thompson." There was no response. The silence that followed was oppressive, heavy with an unseen menace. Suddenly, a faint hum filled the air, like the quiet buzzing of an insect just beyond my reach. I stepped inside, my eyes scanning the dimly lit room for any sign of life. Dr. Thompson's assistant, a quiet young woman named Sarah, looked up from her desk with a mixture of concern and curiosity. "Dr. Patel, I wasn't expecting you." She hesitated before adding, "We've been expecting you." Her words sent a chill down my spine as the hum grew louder, more insistent. It was then that I realized this was no ordinary meeting. This was the beginning of something much larger, something that would change everything I thought I knew about the universe and my place within it. As I sat down in Dr. Thompson's office, a sense of trepidation washed over me. The air seemed to vibrate with an otherworldly energy, as if the very fabric of reality was beginning to unravel before my eyes. And then, without warning, everything went black. As I came to, I found myself lying on the floor of Dr. Thompson's office, my head throbbing with a dull ache. The room was in disarray, papers scattered everywhere, and the hum had stopped abruptly. Sarah was kneeling beside me, her face etched with concern. "Doctor Patel, are you okay?" She helped me to my feet, and I stumbled towards Dr. Thompson's desk. That's when I saw it, a small, sleek device that seemed to be pulsing with an otherworldly energy. It was surrounded by notes, diagrams, and equations scrawled across the pages of what looked like an ancient Sumerian text. The device itself appeared to be some sort of advanced technology, unlike anything I'd ever seen before. As I picked it up, a shiver ran down my spine. The surface was cool to the touch, almost intelligent. It felt like it was waiting for me, watching me. I turned to Dr. Thompson, who stood at the door, a mixture of fear and awe on his face. "Where did this come from?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I showed him the device, and he took one look before stumbling backwards, collapsing onto the floor. It's not natural," he stammered. The device itself seemed to be emitting a low-frequency hum once more, but this time it was accompanied by a series of cryptic symbols that flashed on its surface like binary code. I felt a sense of trepidation as I realized I had stumbled upon something much bigger than myself, something that could change the course of human history. And then there were the notes. Scattered across the floor, they seemed to be from my own hand, but I couldn't remember writing them. The words blurred together in a mad scramble of equations and diagrams, like something was trying to tell me something, but I couldn't decipher the message. The air around us grew colder, heavier, as if the very atmosphere itself was being manipulated by this device. It was then that I saw it, a small, hidden compartment in Dr. Thompson's desk drawer. Inside, a note that made my blood run cold. "They're waiting for you," it read. "The ones who watched from the stars." As I delved deeper into the mystery, I became increasingly obsessed with uncovering more evidence of this otherworldly conspiracy. Dr. Thompson's device had opened up a Pandora's box of questions, and I was determined to find answers. I spent countless hours poring over ancient texts, seeking out cryptic clues and hidden patterns. The symbols on the device seemed to be a key, unlocking doors to forgotten knowledge and forbidden secrets. I became convinced that this technology was not of this world, but rather a remnant of an advanced civilization that had long since vanished. The more I learned, the more I realized how little we truly understood about our own universe. I began to question everything: the nature of reality, the existence of extraterrestrial life, and even the very fabric of time itself. My investigation led me down a rabbit hole of conspiracy theories and unexplained phenomena. I spoke with experts in various fields, from astrobiology to cryptography, hoping to glean some insight into this enigmatic technology. Some were skeptical, dismissing my claims as the ravings of a mad scientist. Others seemed genuinely interested, but their knowledge was limited and piecemeal. The more I dug, the more I became convinced that we were on the cusp of a revolution in human understanding, one that would challenge everything we thought we knew about the universe and our place within it. And yet, with each step forward, I felt like I was being pulled deeper into the abyss. The symbols on the device seemed to be watching me, waiting for me to uncover the next piece of the puzzle. I began to feel a creeping sense of paranoia, as if I was being followed by unseen forces. My colleagues at the university grew concerned about my increasingly erratic behavior, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was onto something monumental. The night before a critical deadline, I received an anonymous package containing a small, intricately carved stone. There was no note or explanation, just the stone, pulsing with the same energy as the device. It was then that I realized I had become trapped in this web of conspiracy and mystery, with no clear escape route in sight. As I delved deeper into the mystery, I began to experience strange occurrences that blurred the lines between reality and paranoia. It started with small things, finding notes in my apartment with cryptic messages, only to discover they were from my own hand. The symbols on the device seemed to be everywhere, etched into the walls, the furniture, even my skin. I started to feel like I was living in a dream world where nothing made sense and everything was watching me. One night, I woke up to find a figure standing in my bedroom doorway. It was tall, imposing, with eyes that seemed to bore into my soul. I froze, unable to move or speak, as the figure began to whisper strange phrases in my ear. "You're getting close," it hissed, "but you'll never be ready." The words sent a shiver down my spine, and I knew I had to get out of there. I stumbled out of bed and staggered to the door, slamming it shut behind me. But when I looked back, the figure was gone. I was left standing in darkness, wondering if I had imagined the whole thing, or had something more sinister been lurking just beyond the edge of perception. The next day, I received a phone call from an unknown number. "They're coming for you," a low, gravelly voice growled. "You have to be careful." I was taken aback. Who was this person, and how did they know my secrets? But as I listened to the voice on the other end of the line, I realized that I was in grave danger. The device had unlocked more than just ancient knowledge. It had unleashed a force into the world that would stop at nothing to silence me. I knew then that I had to be careful, but also that I couldn't hide forever. I had to confront the truth, no matter how unsettling it might be. As I delved deeper into the mystery, I began to experience a series of breakthroughs that shed light on the conspiracy. The symbols on the device seemed to be unlocking ancient codes, revealing hidden patterns and connections between seemingly unrelated concepts. I spent hours poring over dusty tomes and crumbling scrolls, deciphering the language of the ancients. And then, it hit me, the connection between the device and an ancient Sumerian myth. The Tablets of Destiny, a long-lost text that spoke of a powerful artifact capable of manipulating reality itself. I felt like I was standing at the threshold of a great revelation, one that would change everything I thought I knew about the universe. The symbols on the device began to pulse with an otherworldly energy, as if they were alive and guiding me towards the truth. I saw visions of ancient civilizations, of beings who had harnessed the power of the universe to build sprawling cities and harness the secrets of life itself. And then I stumbled upon a cryptic message etched into the walls of an abandoned temple. The ones who watched from the stars were not just a myth, but a reality. They were beings from another world who had been watching humanity for centuries, guiding us towards a great revelation. The device was their key to unlocking our collective potential, and I was the only one who could decipher its secrets. As I stood there, bathed in the glow of the symbols, I knew that my life would never be the same. I had uncovered a secret that would change the course of human history, and I was both exhilarated and terrified by the implications. As I delved deeper into the mystery, I began to lose myself in a sea of paranoia and madness. The symbols on the device seemed to be watching me, taunting me with their secrets. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind outside made me jump. My colleagues at the university grew concerned about my erratic behavior, but I couldn't shake the feeling that they were in on it too. that they knew something I didn't. I started to see things out of the corner of my eye, shadowy figures lurking just beyond the edge of perception. I heard whispers in the dead of night, tempting me with forbidden knowledge. The device seemed to be driving me mad, its secrets seeping into my mind like a slow-moving poison. One night I woke up to find myself standing in front of a mirror, staring at a reflection that wasn't mine. The eyes were different, the skin was pale and clammy, and the voice was low and menacing. "You're one of them now," it hissed. "You've seen too much." I stumbled backward, tripping over my own feet as I desperately tried to escape the horror that stared back at me. The days blurred together in a haze of madness. I stopped taking my medication, stopped eating, stopped sleeping. The device was all that mattered now, its secrets burning into my brain like a branding iron. I saw visions of ancient rituals, of human sacrifices and dark magic. I heard the whispers of the ones who watched from the stars, their voices echoing in my mind like a chorus of the damned. And then, one night, I stumbled upon the truth, a terrible, beautiful truth that shattered my mind and left me broken. The device was not just a tool for unlocking secrets, it was a key to unlocking my own soul. And once I saw that, I knew I would never be whole again. The moment I saw the truth, the world around me began to unravel. The device, once a tool for unlocking secrets, had become a portal to unfathomable horrors beyond human comprehension. I felt my mind shattering like glass, my sanity splintering apart from the weight of it all. The symbols on the device seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, as if they were alive and feeding off my terror. I heard the whispers of the ones who watched from the stars, their voices a deafening chorus that threatened to consume me whole. The fabric of reality was torn apart, revealing glimpses of eldritch abominations that defied human understanding. Giant tentacles writhed across the sky, crushing cities beneath their crushing weight. Cosmic entities feasted on the screams of the damned, their hunger insatiable and eternal. I felt myself being pulled towards the abyss, a vortex of madness that threatened to consume me forever. The world was ending and I was powerless to stop it. The device, now a twisted mockery of its former self, seemed to be laughing at me, taunting me with the secrets it had unleashed upon the universe. And then, everything went black. When I came to, I was alone in a desolate landscape, the ruins of civilization stretching out before me like a graveyard. The device was gone, but its legacy remained. The world was forever changed, twisted into a nightmarish realm where cosmic horrors roamed free. I knew that I would never be the same again, that my mind had been shattered beyond repair. And in that moment, I realized that some secrets were better left unspoken. As I stood amidst the ruins, I felt my sanity finally shattering. The weight of what I had uncovered crushed me beneath its oppressive heel. I was consumed by a sense of utter desolation, as if the very fabric of reality had turned against me. The whispers of the ones who watched from the stars grew louder, their voices a cacophony of terror that threatened to consume my mind. I stumbled forward, blindly driven by a desperate need to escape the horror that surrounded me. But there was no escape. Every step I took led only deeper into the abyss. I saw visions of my own future, a twisted nightmare where I was trapped forever in this desolate realm. The device, now a mocking presence, seemed to be reveling in my despair. It pulsed with an otherworldly energy, its secrets burning into my brain like a branding iron. I felt myself being pulled towards the void, a vortex of madness that threatened to consume me whole. And then I saw it, the ultimate horror, a creature so twisted, so eldritch, that my mind recoiled in terror. It was the embodiment of all my darkest fears, a monstrosity born from the very depths of the abyss. I knew that I would never be able to escape its grasp. The world had ended, and I was trapped forever in this realm of cosmic horror. Despair set in, a crushing weight that threatened to consume me whole. I fell to my knees, surrounded by the ruins of civilization, and as the darkness closed in around me, I knew that I was doomed, forever lost in a realm of madness where terror reigned supreme. The last thing I remembered was the sound of my own screams, echoing through eternity. I stumbled forward, driven by a desperate need to escape the abyss. The device, now a twisted mockery of its former self, seemed to be pulling me towards some unknown fate. I had no idea what lay ahead, but I knew I had to keep moving. The whispers of the ones who watched from the stars grew louder, their voices a cacophony of terror that threatened to consume my mind. But I refused to give in. With a burst of adrenaline, I sprinted forward, racing against time to escape the clutches of madness. The landscape before me was treacherous, a twisted maze of eldritch horrors and cosmic terrors. Giant tentacles reached out from the shadows, grasping for me like skeletal fingers. I dodged and weaved, avoiding their deadly grasp by mere inches. The air was thick with an otherworldly energy, a palpable presence that seemed to be watching me with cold, calculating eyes. I knew I had to keep moving if I wanted to survive. But every step I took led me deeper into the heart of madness. The device, now a constant companion, seemed to be guiding me towards some unknown destination. I had no choice but to follow its lead, even as my mind screamed in terror at what lay ahead. The landscape shifted and twisted around me, like a living, breathing entity. I stumbled through a realm of eternal darkness, the only light coming from an otherworldly glow that seemed to sear itself into my retina. And then, suddenly, I saw it. A glimmer of hope in the darkness, a way out, a chance to escape the abyss and find solace in the world beyond. I stumbled towards it, driven by a desperate need to survive. The device, sensing my movement, let out a deafening screech. It was trying to stop me. But I refused to listen. With one final burst of strength, I launched myself forward, leaving the abyss and its horrors behind. And as I emerged into the bright, shining light of day, I knew that I had finally found my way out of the madness. I emerged from the abyss, blinking in the bright light of day. The world was different now. I had uncovered a terrible truth that threatened to destroy everything they held dear. The device, once a tool for unlocking secrets, had become a harbinger of doom. Its power was too great for any one person or organization to control. And yet, it was too late to stop its descent into madness. The world was on the brink of collapse, and I was left to pick up the pieces. I thought of all the innocent lives that would be lost, all the families torn apart by the devastating consequences of my discovery. I thought of the countless civilizations that had been destroyed by the eldritch horrors that lurked beyond the veil of reality, and I knew that I was responsible for it all. The weight of my guilt was crushing me beneath its oppressive heel. I stumbled through the ruins, a shell of the man I once was. My mind was shattered by the horror of what I had uncovered. I couldn't bear to look at anyone, knowing that they would soon be consumed by the same madness that had consumed me. The world was ending, and I was the only one who knew it. I wandered through the desolate landscape, a ghost haunting the ruins of civilization. And in the end, there was only one verdict. I was guilty. Guilty of unleashing a horror upon the world that could never be contained. Guilty of destroying everything they held dear. And guilty of being unable to stop it. I stand alone, surrounded by the ruins of civilization. The world is gone, consumed by the eldritch horrors that lurk beyond the veil of reality. I am left to face the consequences of my actions, to bear witness to the destruction that I have wrought. My eyes are sunken, my skin pale and gaunt. My mind is shattered, my thoughts fragmented by the horror of what I have seen. But even in the midst of this desolation, there is a sense of peace, a sense that I have finally found what I was searching for all along. The device, once a tool for unlocking secrets, now lies still and silent at my feet. Its power has been spent, its purpose fulfilled. And yet, even in death, it seems to whisper a final message to me. You should not have looked. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of my guilt crushing down upon me. But as I do, I am met with a strange sense of acceptance, a sense that I have finally found what I was searching for all along. The darkness closes in around me, and I feel my consciousness slipping away. But even in death, there is a sense of peace, a sense that the world is finally at rest. And so I fade into the shadows, leaving behind only a faint whisper of dread. For in the end, it was not the horrors that lurked beyond the veil of reality that destroyed us all, but our own desire to uncover the truth.